Dr. Paul Hunt is a native of London, England. After a life-altering near-death encounter with God as a young adult, he was called out of the professional music industry to serve in the gospel ministry. Initially, he trained and worked in the field of electrical engineering, gaining valuable leadership and management experience at 2 international corporations in Europe. Following the urging of the Holy Spirit to enter full-time pastoral ministry, he resigned from his position as an engineer at a consultancy and applied to the theology department of Newbold College. Pastor Hunt went on to earn a bachelor's and then a master's degree. While his original plan was to fly under the radar, Newbold was a seminal experience. Pastor Hunt assumed the role of student president, then later ministerial association president, before finally becoming graduating class president. Soon after graduating, Pastor Hunt was recruited into North America to serve in the Texas Conference. Over the course of 19 plus years, he has been blessed with congregational growth and spearheaded educational development in North Dallas, transitioning the Richardson Adventist School to a 10-acre campus opening for the 2008-2009 school year, rebranded as the North Dallas Adventist Academy. Enrollment saw growth to over 320 students, while he served as senior pastor of the Richardson Church for a record 9 years. In 2010, Pastor Hunt went on to lead the first successful church plant established in the city of Plano, Texas, the Acts 2 SDA Church. In 2011, he earned his doctorate in leadership and administration from Andrews University in Michigan. Pastor Hunt went on to serve as the Associate Executive Secretary for the Texas Conference from 2014 to 2017, and Director of Sabbath School and Stewardship Departments from 2017 to 2019. During this time, he developed training programs and materials for strategic leadership, Sabbath school, stewardship, and preaching. Pastor Hunt has also written and presented work in the areas of leadership, Christian education, and premarital preparation. Pastor Hunt has been invited as a speaker and evangelist to diverse locations that include Bermuda, Austria, Sweden, South Africa, Uganda, the Philippines, Croatia, Lithuania, Spain, Brazil, Mexico, and his native England, addressing topics that include leadership, strategic planning, pastoral ministry, management, and educational development. He has guest lectured at Southwestern Adventist University in Texas and Andrews University in Michigan. Pastor Hunt is married to Petronella, his best friend. This dynamic lady is a financial coach and serves on the North American Division Stewardship Committee. She is currently the business manager for the North Dallas Adventist Academy in Texas as well. They are blessed with 3 young adult children: Ashira, 24, a doctor of physical therapy at Andrews University; Kaniel, 22, completing a business and healthcare administration degree at La Sierra University; and Samara, 16, a student at North Dallas Adventist Academy showing an interest in pediatric medicine.
Can see I am here with our new senior pastor, Dr. Paul Hunt. Woo, 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 woo. And I'm here with our illustrious and amazing first elder, the lovely Dr. Sajitha Sutton. And the 3 of us just wanted to take a quick second to welcome you all to the program. The whole purpose of tonight's program is getting to know you a little bit better. So we wanted to get to know Dr. Hunt and his family a little bit better, and then share a little bit more information about KBT with you all. So Elder Saj, do you have something to share?
Yes, I just want to say hello to everyone out there on YouTube and Facebook. This morning we were in the building and I missed everyone, and I know everyone else missed you all as well. It was good to see the program participants in the building. We did lots of air hugs and elbow bumping, and hopefully very soon some of you will be able to join us and we can give you a virtual hug and an elbow bump when we see you in face to face. But until then, we're glad that you're here tonight, and we're looking forward to getting to know the Hunt family along with you.
Yeah. Dr. Hunt, any words of brief welcome? I know this is kind of more us to you, but I don't want to pass you by and not give you a chance to say your own greetings.
Well, I will give my greetings. Greetings to everyone online. I know about you. I had a fantastic time this morning. I know I kept on hearing that it was not what usually happens at KBT, but I still had a great time. I felt the Lord's presence. I enjoyed the ministry, the music that was there. And again, it's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So to help you and your family get to know a little bit more about KBT, we have a special video that we want to share with you all where you'll get to see some more faces of some of our members. And it tells you a little bit about the hopes and dreams that we have for Kingsborough moving forward. So I hope that you and your family enjoy it.
I've grown up in more traditional settings, and I remember the first time I heard somebody came and visited Kingsborough and came back to my home church, and they were like, I went to this church called Kingsborough in Brooklyn. It was amazing. I was like, what happened? They were like, they had praise and worship. I was like, what? And they're like, praise and worship. People were standing and clapping. I was like, no way.
When I get in here, it's like visiting a family friend that knew you for years, and it gives you such a warm feeling.
Well, I think Kingsborough Church is a very friendly church and kind, lovable.
How hard we have a gift just so you can remember us, because we're so thankful that you're here with us.
A church that anyone would like to be a part of.
I like that it's lively. I like that everybody wants to be here. Everybody wants to be a part of KBT, be a part of the KBT family.
Some of the things that I admire here and enjoy is that the members are quite warm. Singing and the preaching has always been the two things that really endeared me to continue, to be a member of the church.
The camaraderie, the family dynamics that it presents.
There's a lot of people here that have been very influential in my life. That's kind of helped mold me into who I am today. That's given me advice, that's spoken to me.
We're there for each other, we love each other. We might fight and argue with each other, but that's what family does. I see us expanding. I see us expanding as a family. I see us growing together, not just physically, but spiritually.
I see KBT in the next 3 years as a place of community, harmony, and just celebration.
I see like a room dedicated to all children. Right now we do have a lot of fun stuff for children to do, but no place is just for kids.
I see Kingsborough becoming more evangelistic and going out into the community and just helping more people, expanding the gospel of Christ.
Some of the things that I'm looking forward to see here at Kingsborough is Kingsborough being a community-centered church, a place where we offer resources to the community, where we're a safe space for the community and for our members, where people feel at home, accepted, loved, embraced, understood.
In 3 years, I think Kingsborough I'm gonna describe it as caring and passionate.
I'm looking forward to a dynamic Sabbath school for the young kids, the 3-year-olds, the kindergartens, the primaries. I want to see this church grow and turn the corner so that we are better than anyone expected.
I think the church as a whole should go out and establish a food pantry, because it's a need. I see a need every time I drive around the streets.
Things that I'm looking forward to in 2020 for Kingsborough would be for our youth to be more engaged. In 2020, that's something that we can replenish and even take it beyond just the youth and start having family retreats.
I just want us to get back to that space, but not so much in the way of looking back and trying to like mimic or recreate, but reinvent and move forward in a positive way and be current in a way that we can keep each other but bring others from outside in.
I love that we're a KBT family. This is my family away from my family. I love that. I love our praise that we come and we give to God each Sabbath. I love that we look out for each other. I just love that whole community.
Or not everybody?
Right now, no one's in New York. I'm the only one in New York. The family will be joining me. This is a challenging transition, but one.
Welcome back, folks. My name, if you guys forgot, it's been a long time. Dr. Sean Thomas here, your health ministries leader and elder at KBT. And I just want to say hello and welcome to the Hunt family. I'm super excited you guys are joining us. I'm virtual right now. Clearly, I'm upstate with my family right here. But on behalf of my wife, Hamangi Pai, who is a member of KBT, and our daughter, Sonali Pai Thomas, who's 5 years old, I want to just say welcome to KBT. We're super excited to have you guys, and blessings on your family.
Yes, and I'm Terrence Farrell, one of the Sabbath school teachers here at Kingsborough, and I'm actually married to one of the elders, Veronica White Farrell, and we have this amazingly full of energy 3-year-old that once we ever get back in the sanctuary, you'll definitely be meeting Ezekiel. He'll be around all over the place.
All right.
Awesome. So welcome. Just so you guys know, I live on Hunt Road. So Hunt is a name that I'm very, very well acquainted with. And that means that this is supposed to be. So I'm happy you guys are with us. And I'm excited. We're going to use this time to actually get to know you guys a little more intimately so that when you guys come into the sanctuary as a full family, we can be well acquainted with you. So Do not be shy. Don't be bashful. Let's just get to know each other. And we want to know all about you, from the TV shows you watch to the bears you sleep with at night. We want to know everything starting right now. All right. So here we go. Terrence, what you got?
My first question is Pastor Hunt wanted to know if the whole family has already joined you in New York, or is everybody coming?
No, the whole family hasn't joined me yet. The transition to New York is going to be a particularly strange one and challenging one. And that's largely because of COVID. The advent of COVID has really slowed things up. Also, my daughter, because we couldn't transition earlier, because I couldn't assume the leadership position earlier, my daughter's at school, so we had to put her in school. We were hoping that we could have gotten over here before. So the long and short of it is it's going to take a little time, but they'll be in and out of New York. They will be coming here, spending a couple weeks at a time, and you'll get to see them.
Okay. All right. So now, with all of that, how are the feelings of moving to the Big Apple, New York City? How do you feel about that? Anyone, and you don't.
You need to pick on
the whole family. This is just not Pastor now. Now I'm reaching out to everyone.
It was, I'll say, very unexpected. We never imagined, we've been in Texas for the past 18, 19 years, that one day we'd have a call to go to New York. And what was kind of, I'll say, weird about the whole situation is, it seems like a lot of people are wanting to leave New York. And so people think we're crazy accepting a call to New York. Mm-hmm. But God is good. God is good.
Now, you know what? Before I even ask that question, I'm getting ahead of myself. Everyone doesn't know the family. So, Pastor Hunt, can you introduce the family? Let's do that.
Okay. Now, I don't quite know, because there's boxes everywhere. So I'm going to start with my eldest, and she can wave. I'm going to start with Ashra and her husband, newlyweds, Amante. Oh, are you going to say anything, Ashra? I'm just going to, okay.
Nice to meet you guys. I know this is virtual, and we're currently located in Michigan, but it's been a blessing to participate in church service earlier this morning with you guys, and looking forward to sharing a little bit more about our lives with you guys, and then learning more about your church community. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So they're not only a newly minted couple, they've just been married, but also Ashra just graduated. She's a doctor of physical therapy. Nice. And we're really proud of her. She's done great. Nice. Then there's Kaniel. This is in age order. There's Kaniel. He's our middle guy, a son. He's currently he's at last year at university. He just flew back to California, and he's there. Tell him what you're studying, Kaniel.
Yeah, so I'm in Riverside, California right now, and I'm a senior. I'm studying management, healthcare management to be specific. And yeah, I mean, to answer your other question that you had, I was pretty excited when I heard New York, because I've never been to this day. I haven't been, so I'm excited to go there and kind of see what it's all about. But yeah, thank you for having me as well.
All right, then there's Samara and also my dear wife, Petronella. Samara, why don't you just tell them a little about yourself?
Hi, I'm Samara, I'm 16. I'm a junior in high school, so I'm not in college, or I haven't graduated like my siblings yet. I'm on the younger side, but I'm really excited for the change, and I hope to meet you guys very soon.
Yeah, I'll also say she says she's 16, but on September the 26th, she's going to be 17. We share a birthday. She was actually born on my birthday. That's my birthday gift right there. And Petronella, my wife of these many years, my partner, my best friend. Petronella, we met in England. We met at church. Mm-hmm. And I'll let her just kind of introduce what you do, babes. You can tell them.
Okay. Hi, nice to meet you all. Looking forward to meeting the rest of the church family at some point. I'm currently working as a business manager for one of our academies, North Dallas Adventist Academy here in Richardson, Texas. I love what I do, and I look forward to being a part of the family in New York. Now, can I make a correction? My son said that he's never been to New York. He just doesn't remember, because we went in 2000 and he was like 3.
That does count. That does count.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've met the entire family. Asher, you're my favorite now because you're a doctor of physical therapy like I am. So we have a bond already. So we'll talk about that whenever you guys do come to New York about the love for PT. But I want to know at this time, and you can go in any order you want, just curious about what your favorite either pastimes are or some of the things that you get into either activity-wise or TV shows you like to watch. So they want to know who you guys are, and these are going to be representations of that. So any TV shows you guys like to watch or your favorite pastime. It could be a family thing, a couple thing, clearly, or just personally.
I guess I can start. One of my favorite pastimes, and I guess I can speak for my husband as well, is exercising and going to the gym. Kind of took a left turn when COVID hit and it closed down and all that kind of stuff. But that's definitely something that we enjoy doing individually and together. And then a TV show for me, I'm watching Call the Midwife right now. It's like a British BBC show because I've always said if I wasn't doing PT, I would have been a midwife. So I really enjoy that show.
Awesome. Amasa, you count too.
Yeah, similar to what Asher said, I love exercising. COVID really messed that up. We read a lot. I'm a voracious reader. I read anything I get my hands on if outside of school. What do I watch? Sports, I guess. Football. Yeah, I don't really watch a ton of TV shows. So football.
I'm wondering, did you say what you were doing? What you do right now?
Oh no, I'm still in school at Andrews University. I'm pursuing my doctorate in counseling psychology. So I've got a little more time there, but that's my eventual goal, be a psychologist.
Awesome. That's great.
All right. Kanye?
All right. Well, pastime, one of the reasons why I actually wanted to come out to La Sierra is because there's a lot to do outside of school as far as like sports and being outside. So I guess that's what I'm kind of interested in as well. Moving to New York or seeing the things that you can do to be active and just kind of be out around in the city. It's going to be a little bit different than Dallas or than California, but I'm excited for that. But as far as like shows or anything, I haven't really been watching. I've been watching basketball, seeing what happened. There was a couple upsets and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, another thing was when I was watching some church videos, I was watching the music, and me and my father are very into music, so that's something that you guys we can join hands on or get into is some of the music that's going down at the church. I play the drums actually, so I'd be excited to join in and help you guys with the music side. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm actually a drummer as well, so we'll connect definitely.
Okay.
He didn't tell you pastime. Tell him about the surfing. You're now a fanatic.
Oh yeah. Since I came to California, I've been surfing quite a bit, and it's a crazy experience. I think it's very humbling. The first couple of times you go there, you're not surfing. You're just there in the water, getting thrown around by the waves and everything. But surfing's become a great thing to do. I feel like it's very very close thing you can do with nature. Riding on the waves. So it's pretty cool. I've been into that as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, for me, I was thinking of what TV show I watch. I really watch whatever my family is watching, to be honest with you. I don't have control of the remote most of the times. When it came to sports, I'm a big basketball fan. I grew up with basketball players in my families. My brothers, sisters played basketball. And so basketball is a big thing for me. I'll watch basketball whenever it's, on TV. And here in Dallas, we've been fortunate to be able to go and watch the Dallas Mavericks, which has been, several times. And our school has an event that they actually host a basketball game every year on the Dallas Mavericks court. So that's pretty exciting for us. So yeah, I watch whatever everyone else is watching.
I've just got to pull one thing here. She says she likes basketball, comes from basketball family. Her family were playing for the national team. There's some real ballers in her family. They're real into sports. So she changes into a different person when we get to games.
See that.
And Samara, are you going to tell them about your basketball? And she has Samara is a state awarded basketball player. She's a champion, so she's hot.
All right, champ.
So some of my pastimes, like my dad said, is basketball. Basketball and volleyball are two things that I really enjoy doing. Typically basketball more than volleyball because that's just been around me for a longer time. So anything basketball or volleyball related, going to the gym with my friends or anything like that. I'm also into like the arts. So painting, crafts, any of that stuff, I'm interested in like 110%. I love doing that. That's all I do. Draw on my notebooks, just any of that stuff. I color shoes, all of that kind of stuff. So that's definitely one of my favorite pastimes. And TV shows, I really enjoy either like action movies. So like I really like Marvel. So like any of those things. And I really do like comedy. So like The Office, I really enjoy shows like that. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So just so you guys know, we have a lot of these things already at our church. We have a ministry called Spartan Sundays. It was the Sunday workout group that is tenacious. They do everything from climbing walls, climbing ropes under barbed wire, and we work out every Sunday. So when you guys are here, I expect to see the entire family with us, since you all are sports fanatics and super duper athletes. So I'm looking forward to that.
Off the hook.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. No one's safe. Everyone's in.
Terrence, mute your mic. You know, I've got a few hobbies. A lot of different things interest me. My nerdy side, I collect fountain pens.
Yeah,
I enjoy that. I collect fountain pens. I'm kind of horological fanatic. That's watches. You know, I like watches. I like learning about watches. You know, the whole Swiss mechanics and handmade kind of thing. So I enjoy that. I read on that. And then the other side is music. If truth be told, if they took you like a video around the house where Petronelle and Samara are, you're going to see a lot of instruments. There are a lot of instruments beside them and behind them.
There's still upstairs, all over the house, everywhere.
Yeah, right in front of them are two speakers. They're right by my desk. That's what I think they are. But
awesome.
You know, I love music. I've been playing all my life. It's something that hasn't left me. Whether it's public or not, I'm going to keep playing.
That's great. I have one more final question about sports, because a number of you guys mentioned that you're into sports, and I know you're from Texas.
Yes.
And we're going to be in New York. So we're Giants fans, we're Jets fans here. I just need to know, because this may be a deal breaker. Are you guys Dallas Cowboy fans?
Oh, we don't really follow football in this house. It's more of a basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
And let me tell you why, Sean. My husband and I come from England, right? So we were accustomed to soccer.
Exactly. Okay.
And when we came here, I see people watching it. And to be honest with you, I think maybe it's because I just don't understand some of the rules. But yeah, that's probably the reason why.
Understood. So we're going to work out well. We're going to be great. Yeah.
You're going to teach us the rules, right?
You guys play cricket at the church? Anyone play cricket?
There's some cricket players. It's all about finding the time, but I know there are a couple people who do play cricket. So we can get a group together. Yep.
Outliers.
Yep.
But I think Daniel's got into football because
but I never ended up being a Cowboys fan. That was not. That's a losing route. I didn't want to go that way.
Okay. Yeah. You guys will meet Brother Miller. Brother Miller is big into cricket, so you'll see him when you guys step onto our church for the first time. He's all about it.
So I wanted to know, with this whole pandemic, a lot of people I know have taken up new hobbies, or they've found new passions. Have any of you picked up new hobbies or found out new things that this pandemic has opened up for you?
I'll answer this one first. So like I said before, I'm really into like the crafts and stuff like that. So one thing that I wasn't really into before the pandemic started was embroidering things. So over the whole COVID thing, over the whole quarantine thing, I ordered some stuff off of Amazon and I started embroidering things, like the simple like thread and colored needle type of stuff. Other than that, just painting. I think I had like a lot more time to do more of the stuff that I enjoy rather than make up a new hobby. So I was able to paint a lot more. Bake. I really like to bake, but I didn't have a lot of time to do it because it does take up a lot of time, and with school and all that, you really don't find the time to bake and stuff like that. So I was able to bake a lot more, baking something almost like every day. So I was just able to work on the hobbies that I already had and spend more time on them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sleeping. That was I don't know if I started it or if I fell back in love with it again, but it was good. It was good to, you know, kind of relax and just sleep in my house too, because I had been at school and stuff. So it was good to be home during the COVID time and just be back as a family together for the first time in a while, just sleeping and just hanging out. It was great.
Cool. Anyone else want to share, or I can move on?
I really didn't create any new hobbies. I was still working during COVID because I could work from home. Thank God we were able to do that. And so, you know, it was nice to be able to just spend time with the family. Like Kaniel mentioned, since Asher's been in school for the past 6 years, there was never a time where we were spending more than 2 weeks together as a family. It was wonderful to have all our kids home from March until probably July. And so, you know, as bad as things have been going, I think one of the positive things for a lot of us has been we were able to spend more time with our family, which is great.
Nice. Now, Pastor, I'm gonna move to you real quick, and I want to start with you, but it's open to everyone. What are your spiritual gifts? Now, I can assume what they are, you know, from your bio and from hearing you preach, but what would you say are your spiritual gifts?
Spiritual gifts, for me, they show up in the area of leadership, administration. Of course, you know, preaching, pastoring is, you know, pops up in there, of course, as a spiritual gift. That's about it. I mean, there are a few more, you know, teaching, because I actually enjoy teaching, you know, teaching the word and so on. That pops us. I mean, they're kind of the normal suspects that you're going to expect, you know, speaking to a pastor.
Right.
All teaching, gamut, administration, leadership, that pops up a lot.
Which have you found that you've used the most? Because I've realized there's a difference between teaching and preaching, and some ministers lean more towards teaching, some lean more towards preaching, or, you know, so which would you say is like where you feel yourself leaning?
Well, you know, they say form follows function. So depending on what the function is, because I believe I can preach, I believe I can teach. There's some messages that are better taught than preached. And there's some messages that really need to be preached rather than just broken down and taught. Right. So it's really about utility. What will get that message across in the best way? Instead of trying to force fit it into anything, you see where the message leads, the point of what it is you're trying to communicate, what a church needs. That goes into what a church needs, the kind of spiritual diet that's happening. And you substitute and switch out between preaching and teaching as you go along. So
nice. Now I'm going to open it up to the family. What would you say your spiritual gifts are, and how have you used them in the past?
Spiritual gifts.
I'll answer my question. For many years, I did something that I thought I was doing just because I loved doing it, until I became aware that hospitality was a spiritual gift. I had never seen it in that way. And so if you ask me, hospitality is definitely a spiritual gift. And I feel so comfortable in it. I feel that every church ought to be a hospitable church. And it's one of those gifts that you can't teach somebody to be hospitable. It's either they have it or they don't. And so for me, hospitality is what I consider my spiritual gift.
Cool. Anyone else want to jump in there? Double Dutch rope is going.
I'm not so sure what mine is. Yeah, I think that just has to do with age and like as my personality and character develops as I get older. So if you definitely ask me that question later on in the years, maybe I'll probably have a a better answer for you then.
Good answer.
Nice.
All right.
I mean, I'm not going to belabor the point. You know, we can move right along. And these next set of questions are kind of geared towards the pastor. Now, if I cut anybody off, Kenya, you look like you was about to say something.
I was just gonna say I think I might have a spiritual gift or two maybe, but I would say something, because I was just thinking as you were asking the question of maybe something that I've done in the past that I didn't maybe realize, and I guess maybe music. I was involved in music a lot all throughout high school, both playing and kind of on the EQing side with mics and stuff, and trying to figure all that out. I think music was something that I was very into, playing it and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a talent I have is playing music and also helping maybe organize praise and worship or songs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one which I kind of figured from the mission trips that I've gone on. I've enjoyed being on the ground and doing something that kind of makes you feel like you're helping the community. So I'd say maybe I'm not sure what that gift is necessarily, but that's something that I enjoy doing, is kind of going out and helping the community from the churches side.
Nice. I don't want to cut anybody off. Asherah, you got anything, or you just say go ahead, move on, or whatever?
I guess a spiritual gift of mine would be, I'm not sure if it's an actual one of the on the list of spiritual gifts, but helping people with physical bodies. And I know Dr. Sean can kind of understand this as well, but I think especially as it pertains to children and their families, I have a passion for working with kids, and I think that is a spiritual gift, to connect with families and connect with kids so that they can have a better quality of life.
Nice. Okay. Amante, you want to jump in too? I don't want to leave you out.
Sure. I think something I've developed as I've gone through more schooling and I've understood more about myself is the gift of, I don't know what you call it, counsel, the ability to, I guess I would distill it, the ability to make sure people know that they're heard, whether that's in a professional setting, in a workplace, or just in their everyday life, or in a body of believers, to have people know that their petitions, their struggles, their issues can be heard and wrestled with, and that someone else in that community or in that setting or in that room cares about them. That's something I've tried to hone, and I think I'm naturally good at it, and through school and through God's blessing, something I'm trying to perfect and use to lead others to healthier lives, for sure. Nice.
I love it. All beautiful answers. Like I said, we're going to shift more towards the pastor now. These questions are going to be geared towards Pastor Hunt. And you kind of touched on it a little bit in your sermon today, but what's your view on community outreach? And ideally, how do you feel the church should be involved in that?
I encourage involvement. Clearly, the sermon this morning, was a little bit of a manifesto on that, unintentional, but it really is a passion of mine. In some ways, you can say that the true effectiveness of a church is not how well it runs its services, how well we do things that are internal and inward focused, but how well we service others, how well we actually become a friend and a help, a tangible, practical help to those who are around us. And it's at the very kind of crux of the gospel message is the idea of compassion. And compassion is more than sympathizing. Compassion is more than empathizing. What compassion does is it brings you to a place where you'll actually do something about the issues that you're seeing around you, that you're empathizing with and you're sympathizing with, but it takes you that step further. There's passages where Jesus healed, and it tells us how he was feeling. It says, Jesus was first moved with compassion. Then he put forth his hand and he helped and he touched. I think really that's the posture of the church. It's not deep theology. It's really just part of who we are. And it really authenticates this idea that we're Christian. What really makes it authentic is if when someone was starving, was I there? Yeah. When someone was in prison, was I there? So I'm not going to teach you all right now because I think most of us know this, but I think it should our beliefs should align in some practical, tangible way with the needs of the community.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, Pastor, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. And as you know, this year has been complicated and challenging from COVID-19 to the Black Lives Matter movement. And whether you're in Texas or you're in Brooklyn, New York, it's everywhere. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on the movement, Black Lives Matter, and what your view is for the role of social justice in the church.
Those are two big questions. And I know how well I'm going to, take care of that in a couple of minutes. I'll just say this. Black Lives Matter owes its existence to the fact that there is structured systemic racism. So what it is really a response to that reality. And that reality is not just on American soil, it's global. Because I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch across the world when it erupted over the deaths, the killings of Black men. The whole world erupted. I mean, I was getting videos and calls from London, and there weren't just a few hundred or a few thousand. There were hundreds of thousands of people across Europe and in England marching over Black Lives Matter. So it resonated because I think, across the board, people of color share something in common, and that is some form of structured systemic discrimination, which results often in violence and abuse. So my view of Black Lives Matter is that it's legitimate. I'd like to mention something. This may sound a little left field, but it's really part of the expansive discussion about Black Lives Matter. The Adventist Church in the Second World War, the Adventist Church failed in many instances to actually speak out against the movement of Nazism across the world. We also, to our shame, in some ways cooperated with the government, cooperated with the Nazi government. The church in Germany and churches across Europe generally kept silent about that. If we move a little further ahead, we could mention South Africa. At the time of South Africa, our church, of course, we had Adventist churches. They were there, they were present in South Africa, but they rarely, if ever, said anything. They didn't speak up. We participated certainly in the economics of that system. The economics of apartheid, under apartheid of the church, but we didn't say a great deal. And when we came to speak to Nelson Mandela, he was a little reticent to speak to us because he remembered that the Adventist Church didn't say anything. So without putting too fine a point, I can mention a few more examples. I'm not trying to bash my church. What I'm saying is today we need to be careful about what it is that we are either trying to, skirt around or not directly address and just call it for what it is. I think we can, at some level, make a statement, be involved, talk about the legitimacy of movements that work against systemic racism and still be Seventh-day Adventist Christians in good and regular standing. Because the opposite is really what we've been doing in the past. So I really would love to see that change take place, not only nationally here in the US, but also globally. And I think it's actually happening. The church is speaking up more on American soil and over in Europe. So I'm pleased to see that. I don't know if I've over answered the question for you.
No, that's perfect. That's actually exactly what I wanted. I thank you for sharing. And it goes in line with my next question, which is talking more about social justice. Yesterday we lost a rock in our world, especially the justice system, the notorious RBG, as we call her in Brooklyn native, actually from Flatbush. And, her death has gotten a lot of people antsy because that leads more to what's going to be happening in terms of how we make laws, what laws will be taken away for next year, etc. So I'm curious what you would share, as many people are going through despair with the pandemic and with the death of her as a social justice leader. What words do you want to share with the congregation about the despair and the cynicism that they may be feeling right now with her death and with so many things that are happening politically in this country?
Yeah, I heard the sad news. I think it was last night. It really blew up across social media, and it is a shame. It seems that the timing, the timing of this is just makes it even more awful.
Right.
But when we look at issues we face, issues facing this country, what has happened is that a lot of sore points, a lot of realities for many Americans have now come to the surface and become frontline news. And there is a degree to which we can begin to despair because at some level, we don't see the light. You know, we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that something is actually going to be better, that we're going to see better days. To compound that, we also know that in prophecy, that the world is really not getting better and better. In some ways, it's getting worse and worse towards the second coming of Jesus Christ. But the hope that we have in us should not be extinguished because externally, we don't see the kinds of things that we know are right. We don't see the kind of justice take place in our world in tangible ways as it really should. But be assured that Christ is in control. God is still in control of this planet, still in control of our lives. And I think along the way, we're going to see indicators. I think even Black Lives Matter is one of those indicators. Along the way, we're going to see wake-up calls for the church in our endeavor to be involved in the local community, that somehow we've got to touch these points. These are touchstones. Because just like in the time of the 60s, when the church was silent, what happened is other movements rose up that were more militant and probably more military or violent. And they rose up because we left a chasm, we left a gap. So I think there's space for the church to speak, still maintain its identity, but still be true to what I believe was the life and teachings of Jesus, which is to speak out against injustice against the poor and the afflicted and the downtrodden. So I don't think this is antithetical to being Christian at all. I think for me, it's a stirring or waking up of the church to see where we can connect with the world, understand the pain, understand what they're going through and what we're going through, and be able to do something help. I don't believe in tokenism because at the level of protests, we got protests, which is good, it's making a statement, but we have to quickly get over to the arena of legislation, which is not my arena, you know, legislation and economics. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen except tokenism. But I just say that as an aside. It's not that I'm a politician or I can affect any change at that level. At the level that we can engage with the community and we can speak truth and we can bring comfort because people are distressed, I believe we should be getting involved in that. And I say to every member who's online here, don't despair because your God is still God and he's still in control.
Awesome. Wonderfully put. Wonderfully put. I was going to ask you now, you've been in the conference office in Texas for a while. And what made you accept the call to Kingsborough Temple in Brooklyn, New York?
Yeah. All right. Well, let me say this. You know, when I first accepted a call to go into the ministry, the call was to pastoral ministry. That's what it was. And I met God on that turf. And in some ways, in the Adventist system, as in many systems, particularly in the Adventist system, some people look at moving up the ladder or somehow finding recognition as a minister of the gospel is in moving up the administrative ladder. That somehow if I get called to there, I can see progress, I can see forward movement. And some of that really stems from the fact that much of a pastor's work is done behind the scenes. People don't know what's going on, and it's very hard to quantify. You know, you could wear yourself out in a week, you could pray with a lot of people, meet, so on, and comfort, but it's hard to quantify, okay, what did I do? Like in a regular job, okay, I made these many widgets, I saw these many patients and so on. It's hard to do that. And in some ways, psychologically, I think ministers get into a rut where we think, well, because I can't see too much impact here, perhaps when we move into administration, it is a recognition that I am doing something, that I'm moving forward. But pastoral ministry is not lower than the kind of ministry that you do in the conference office. It's different. The conference office is very different from the field. And the field is where Jesus was. And the field is what I was called to, what every pastor's called to. So I don't look at it as a demotion or I'm kind of moving down, I should be moving up, going into another conference office because I'm taking on a church. That's the highest work. Ellen White said that's the highest work we can do. And I believe that till today. So I had no problems accepting a call into a local church. In fact, I was at the point where I preferred it. I had quite a bit of the administrative side of working, and I really wanted to get back to the church with people. And the reason why that's exciting to me is people are where the action is. And in our structure, the church is at the very top of our organization, because not even the GC president could come down to KBT and tell us how we should do the service or whether or not we should sing this song or that song. The church is absolutely supreme in what it votes at the local level, and it does that. We have no one impinging in on that. So in some ways, it's a more empowering space to be in. And I enjoy being in there, and I'm glad I'm back.
Nice. Well, we definitely have our share of excitement here. We do. Do you think you have a specific leadership style?
I really don't know how to answer that question, but I'll say this, because my doctorate's in leadership, so I'll give you a leadership answer here. Leadership styles are linked to our personalities, but really ultimately they should be principle based. And I come from the principle of a kind of situational leadership. If people do not require much direction in what they're doing, and they're proficient and have been trained and they're released for ministry, then training isn't the thing that I do. Then I should be a supportive leader. I should be the leader that goes out and find the resources that are necessary to enable ministry in that context. If it's a context where there is a lot of training that's needed, it's not as developed as some other areas, well, that's where I need to work. I need to roll up my sleeves and start to get to teach and to get people functional, get them to understand roles, get them to understand really ministry job descriptions, what it requires of you, what it requires of you spiritually on the inside, what kind of character traits, teach them really the mechanics of that in order to get them up and running. My job is to make sure that I am redundant when I leave here, meaning they really don't need me to function. They just function and function at a high level, function in cooperation with each other, have a symbiotic relationship right across the church. And in reality, Pastor Hunt could go away for a couple months, come back, no one would skip a beat. That's really how I look at my job. So it's got to be adaptive. So that's really my style.
Nice.
I like that. And I thank you for sharing that, Pastor. I have one more question for you. And then we have a special video on the history of KBT. If you had to give one hashtag to your members right now about what's in store when you walk into that building, we're back up and running, what's the one hashtag you would give to us right now that represents your mentality, your goal, your drive, and your vision? I know it's a lot, but one hashtag you would give us to represent all that for KBT for the rest of this year into next year.
Dude, you're nailing me down too hard.
Welcome to Brooklyn.
That's too hard. Well, I'm not getting in that box. But what I'll say right now is hashtag action. Hashtag get ready.
Bomb. I love it. Awesome. I want to just thank you, Pastor Hunt, Dr. Hunt, and the whole Hunt family. This has been a great introduction to your family. We know you are ready, and I'm grateful that the two of us were able to actually have a conversation with you guys first. So I'm excited to see you whenever you do arrive in New York, and we're a family now. So this is what it's going to be. At this time, we're going to have a special video on the history of KBT. So please enjoy, courtesy of our Audio team.
The history of Kingsborough Temple. It began in the mind of Elder Stennett Brooks, then president of the Northeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, who envisioned the possibility of a citywide crusade in Brooklyn. In the summer of 1991, that vision became a reality when Pastor Charles D. Brooks from Breath of Life Ministries accepted an invitation to serve as featured speaker for a 4-week crusade. On August 10, 1991, the crusade began at Brooklyn College's Walt Whitman Auditorium. At its culmination, 288 souls were baptized. Most of the 288 newly baptized souls matriculated to congregations of various Seventh-day Adventist churches in the New York metropolitan area. However, a handful, 67 individuals, continued to meet at Brooklyn College, with their first meeting convening in a classroom of Brooklyn College's George Gershwin building. Dr. Abraham J. Jules was appointed as pastor. Vincent B. Golf was appointed as first elder, and Corinne Warwin served as treasurer and elder. Under this dynamic leadership team, the church flourished and quickly outgrew its initial space. Having no fixed home, services were held at various locations, including the Little White Church on Kings Highway, Brooklyn College, the Flatbush Church of the Redeemer, and the Dutch Church of the Redeemer at East 23rd Street in Brooklyn. Tired of roaming, Dr. Jules began to diligently search for a permanent place of worship. At the recommendation of Pastor Richard Bryant, an abandoned church at 415 7th Street, Brooklyn, was located and purchased. Upon purchase, thick cobwebs covered the building's stained-glass windows and occluded the sunlight. Everything was covered in dust inches deep. This building doubtlessly had been a place of beauty, filled with people and the melodious sounds of a pipe organ. But oh, if these walls could talk. They would tell the following story. On Easter Sunday, April 17th of 1870, the doors of this red brick building were opened for the very first time. It was then known as All Saint Chapel. Its cornerstone was the first to be laid in the newly formed Diocese of Long Island by the first primal bishop, the Reverend Abram Newkirk. Reverend Newkirk was affectionately known as Little John D.D. Interestingly, 121 years later, another derivative of the name Abram would be placed on a marble foundation stone on the outside wall of the red brick chapel. But this time the name was Dr. Abraham J. Jules. In 1903, at the time of upheaval within the Lutheran Church, St. Emmanuel Lutheran German Evangelical Church purchased the red brick chapel for $50,000, with the intention of preserving their German heritage and language and avoiding bilingual services. German inscriptions at the base of the stained glass windows in our church sanctuary attest to the past presence of their congregation. Those parishioners worshipped within these walls for 45 years, and later relocated in 1948. In the ensuing years, sadly, the red brick chapel fell into a state of disrepair. By 1992, the church building had been abandoned for almost 10 years. In that same year, Kingsborough Temple began the first restoration project, a labor of love. This project commenced because someone looked beyond cobwebs and neglect and simply believed that restoration was possible. On November 5th, 1993, the hard work of the congregants were completed and the sanctuary was dedicated. To the honor and glory of God, 1,500 individuals attended the Friday evening Vesper service, and 1,500 returned on Saturday morning for the dedication service of the newly renovated sanctuary. The following month, on December 18th, 1993, Goff Auditorium was dedicated and named in honor of the first elder, Vincent B. Goff. On April of the following year, Kidman Place was completed and dedicated in honor of Elder Paris Kidman. On June 11th, 1994, Kingsborough Temple was formally organized as a church with approximately 450 individuals as its charter members, the largest membership ever organized as a church in the history of the Northeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Since its inception, Kingsborough has been blessed with the following pastors: Dr. Abraham J. Jules, Pastor D.L. McFall, Pastor Gregory Nelson, Dr. Ainsworth E. Joseph, Pastor Donette Blake, Pastor Easton G. Marks, Dr. Ricardo Delahaye, Pastor Edsel P. Cadet, Pastor Amanda Hawley, Pastor Alphonse Sinclair, and Pastor Frederick Russell.
All right. So this is just scraping the top of the iceberg, just really, just getting into it. We know that we can't fully, introduce ourselves in one program. Dr. Hunt, you and your family can't fully introduce yourselves in one program, but we wanted to still just put aside a little bit of time so we could connect and just get to know one another. And so, as it's been said, and as we've seen in the pictures, you are a musician, and we've heard about all of the musical instruments in your house, and your son, Kaniel, he is a musician as well. So we wanted to share with you our most popular songs that was recorded and put on YouTube. It has over 2 million views, and it was just kind of like a rock out of the band. And so to close us out in true KBT fashion, we are going to play our epic version of Joy to the World, and that will conclude us tonight. Thank you everybody for joining, for watching us, and we look forward to everything that is going to take place, Pastor Hunt, under your leadership and your family joining and just continuing to do the work of the Lord in this side of his vineyard.
I'm still figuring how to get the saxophone here. I'll sign you up, brother. God bless you.